And this is going to be for all you guys who are trying to approach a girl. Okay, maybe there's a girl that you like. Okay, maybe there is. Maybe you just want to be ready for that moment, so on and so forth. This is going to be for you. Okay, you have to understand that the whole idea of approaching a girl, it's not really that crazy. Okay, I'm sure you would agree. And it's really that difficult to talk to someone. Right, the whole action of just putting words out of your mouth to another individual, that in and of itself is not hard. The thing in your mind that's making it hard is this grandiose perception of the situation. Because if you just made it out like, well, why don't you talk to this marker? Talk to the marker. You may think it's a little stupid, but you wouldn't feel like, oh, I can't do it. Oh my god. You wouldn't feel that. Okay? It's just a marker. But when it's a girl, you then go, can't do it. Right? So it's your perception of the thing that shapes how difficult it actually is. It's not inherently difficult. And this really goes for anything else. Like, for example, becoming a chess master. If you practice for 12 hours a day of chess, grinding, the best method possible, you're learning new things every day, would it really be that hard to be really good at chess? No. But the hard part is actually doing it for 12 hours. But see, that's a decision you make. It's based on perception, the way you feel. So, the best way to begin approaching women effortlessly is not by following these other people's guides on like, well, you gotta say this, you gotta like dress like this, gotta sound like this, you gotta talk like this, so on and so forth. No. Okay, those things are helpful, but they only come secondary. I might even talk about those things. Alright, but it's really secondary to understanding that your mind is the ultimate barrier. Okay, you can approach any girl when you could see an ugly girl and a pretty girl as the same. Because ultimately, what? They're both women. They're human beings. There's nothing inherently special about either of them. Sure, one may be pretty, one may be ugly, but who knows, the ugly one might be a better person. Might be someone you like enjoy being around more. Not to say that you would do anything with them, but that's how it would be. And just because they're pretty doesn't mean they're inherently any smarter. In fact, the pretty ones tend to be more clueless from what I've seen in my personal experience. So, that's great. Now, how do you fix that? You may be asking me. Tell me the solution now. Alright, relax. I got you. So, the solution is very simple. So, all you have to do is two things. First, you need to really look into your image of woman. Call it the Maria. Jung will call it the anima, but my metaphysics is a bit different, so I want to use different terms. Well, your Maria is basically your internal image of woman. And when you don't know a girl, like for instance, have you ever been like, oh my god, this girl's so perfect, I want to start this family with this girl, so on and so forth, when you just saw a picture of a girl? When you just think about a girl you haven't even really talked to? What's going on there is projection of your inner female image onto the girl. And that's problematic because that puts you in a situation where you're completely beholden to this image. This image is controlling you. It's like you're sleepwalking. You don't have any actual control of what you're doing. Right? And then when it falls apart, when she doesn't fit that image completely, either you find out something you don't like or she rejects you, it's like you are rejecting yourself. You break apart. And you cry in a corner like a little pussy. But it's true. Okay? That's how it works. That's why we get so attached without even really knowing the girl. So the first thing you have to do is you have to really figure out what this inner woman image you have is doing for you that makes it so appealing. So let's say your mother gave you a lot of attention, and now you don't really see her. So now, for most people, they will develop this void of attention. Okay? And then when they see a girl, they're like, oh my god, if she gives me attention, I'll fix the problem. So then they desire them a lot. That's the real desire. Okay, it's not actual love. So that person has to do is they have to start giving more attention to themselves. You have to do upon yourself what you wish others would do upon you. Okay, how do you give yourself more attention? One, by framing. You could say, you know what, I'm in the shower, so I'm going to give attention to myself because I love myself. Not in a hippy-dippy way, but you know what I mean. And you could say, well, I'm going to clean my room, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, frame it. Or you could do things where you're just thinking more about your life and caring more about your decisions, right? Don't worry. I'm not going to sell you something. What I will tell you is that if you find this video helpful, you will love my Discord. Okay? There's nothing paid over there, like I said, but the point is that I could share censored information there that I cannot share on YouTube, Twitch, or any of these other platforms. Freaking fly, moth, whatever the hell that thing was. Anyways, that's the whole process. It literally is that simple. Okay? And they do that for anything else. If your mother abandoned you, you still want attention. I mean, attention is usually one of the main... Freaking moth, bro. What the hell? Attention is one of the main things you see. Sometimes it gets blurred by looks. They're like, see a girl with big boobs, and they're like, oh my god, big boobs, that's what I like. It's like, well, you like big boobs because it gives you like this nurturing feeling, right? And it could go for other body parts. You really want to think about why you like the girl that you like that you don't even think about. Okay, that's probably the best way to find it, because one of the easiest ways to work on your own mind is by withdrawing projections. All right. Now, let's say you've done that. Okay. Well, how do I now do the second part of what you said? So after you work on this inner image, you then begin to live this life where you're whole within yourself. Okay? I say this always to people that I'm working with. You can do well with women the second you say, you know, if I never get married, if I never find the girl, I'll be okay with that. A lot of people go like, just died. Oh.
Oh my god!
They're gonna do that. Okay? But here's the thing. It's very important that you can develop them. Because when you develop that, you are in the prime position to actually give yourself to another individual. Because think about it. Is it really love if you love someone out of necessity? Like you need to love them? It's not a choice. For a lot of you people, before you do this process of withdrawing your projections and making yourself more whole, it's not really a choice, it's necessity. You need it to complete yourself. In order to truly love another individual, you need to be fully whole in yourself so you can give all of yourself to the other individual. That's love. Okay? So the moment you could say you'll be okay without another individual that you love, the second you say that is the second you actually love them. And that goes to the whole approaching idea, because when you approach, if you can get this idea out of your head, of this projection, there'll be a lot less pressure going into it. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Say no. Maybe if you're really ugly, work on that. But, I mean, for most of you guys, what's the worst thing she's going to say? Well, let's be honest. Okay? And now you're in a situation where you're like, okay, well, what do I say now? The biggest fallacy is thinking that the words you say really matter. Okay, what matters more is the tone and the way you say things. So, I'm going to say the same thing twice and you tell me the meanings of it. I like donuts. I like donuts. Two completely different meanings, same words. So, all you're trying to do is trying to get this girl on a roller coaster of up and down of tonality, okay? You don't want to push it too far. If you're going to make a joke, say like, no, that's funny. Or you make fun of them a little bit, have that tone, like that joking tone. But don't go like, don't do that. Okay, you understand? And if you're going to be a little mean as a joke, you might say like, you might go like that. You don't go like, you know what I mean? You don't go too far either way. You know, have fun. Yeah, that's the number one thing. Have fun, bro. And the biggest thing that will keep you from having fun is this idea that, well, I need to have the girl. The girl is so important. I have to have the girl. That is the thing that's going to keep you from having fun. And having fun is the easiest way to have good game. Okay? And always remember, no sex before marriage, and if it don't end in teen, I ain't going in. That's funny. Okay. That's not a good video.